Suggestion here from Mr. Wireless Mike. It is Bo of the Fifth Column. He's talking about what we touched on a little bit earlier in the night, and that'll be Trump's really bad news. Apparently, and listen, Republicans are going to have to sit down and brace yourselves. It's going to be hard to hear. And we're here for you this trying time. But it turns out that the law also applies to Donald John Trump. Donald Jingleheimer Schmidt Trump is, in fact, just some guy. He's just some person like the rest of us, and the law also, it turns out, applies to him. Oh, the Fifth Column talking about it.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So
Howdy, Bo.
today we are going to talk a little bit about Trump and how his day isn't getting any better. So if you missed it, Trump's appeal, his claim that he's immune to like everything in the world and can do whatever he wants, that was not accepted by the appeals court.
Yeah.
But there's
The defense, they're calling it in legal circles, the technical term, special baby boy. The special baby boy claim. And it turns out Trump is not a special baby boy. Oh, no. Yeah. Heartbreaking, I know, but one soldier's on.
this whole other thing that's been going on that now seems to be kind of coming to a head. In the New York civil case, there's been a lot of reporting suggesting that Weisselberg is looking at taking a deal, looking at taking a plea agreement for perjury.
If I recall correctly, this is about the square footage of Trump's apartment. This vain SOB, in an attempt to brag, might have gotten a man to perjure himself in front of the U.S. government. Let's see if that memory is correct.
Obviously, that would alter things. If Weisselberg admits to lying under oath,
Convicted, yeah.
that
Convicted felon, yes.
that changes things a little bit. Now, just in general, it's bad news if somebody who provided testimony on your behalf is then admits, to perjury. It becomes worse news when the judge involved in a case that you're involved in takes a very keen interest in it and sends a message that includes, as the presiding magistrate, the trier of fact, and the judge of credibility, I, of course, want to know whether Mr. Weisselberg is now changing his tune and whether he is admitting he lied under oath in my courtroom at this trial. I mean, that's a pretty direct question. And the judge goes on to kind of indicate that, yes, the article and all the reporting, it is focused on Weisselberg and claims about the size of Trump's apartment and stuff like that, and it's relatively minor stuff. The judge is indicating that the court may adopt the doctrine of, well, false in one, false in all. If you have lied about this thing in this instance and in this courtroom, we can't take any of your testimony seriously. That's something that would be incredibly damaging to the former president's case. And the judge says, I do not want to ignore anything in a case of this magnitude. So at the end...
Yeah, that's sort of what that's what we've been saying is a good idea outside of the court. Two, false in one, false in all. When you are trying to talk to especially centrists, especially people that say they, I don't really follow politics, but I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for. Or, well, I tend to be a fiscal conservative, but a quiet racist. it's a really good idea to start picking at the places they get their news from, because they're being lied to. And I'm unkind, I'm ungenerous to these people. What's the word? Uncharitable to these people. And that really is more of a knock against me than anything else, than it is against them. That's a sign of my immaturity. But nonetheless, let us, we'll be damned together, they and I. You guys got to be better than that. And I encourage you, when you are talking to them, to pick at the credibility of their news sources. It's not going to be difficult to find instances of them being lied to. They're lied to every day, every single day, by the places they get their news. Find one and do your best not to sway them from voting for this, that, or the other thing, or supporting this policy or that policy. Just to acknowledge that they've been lied to. That's all you got to do. And then you follow that up with, if they lied to you about that, should you really be trusting them about anything else? We go to the next story. You show me another clip from this nonsense you watch. You think I'm going to be able to find that they're lying there too. And if they support U.S. conservatives, the announced U.S. conservative party, as opposed to just regular conservatives, which are the Democrats, if they are a MAGA supporting station, then they are lying all the time. False in one, false in all. I like that. It's a good phrase. Hopes that I will. There we go. Let's see what else Bo has to say.
And here, what we have is a situation where the outcome of the New York case, it already doesn't look good for Trump. Like, it already looks like it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
The judge taking an interest in this means that perhaps the judge is on the fence about it being bad and the absolute worst possible outcome for the former president, and that this might be a deciding factor. Because there's, if Weisselberg lied under oath and is going to admit that, there's a whole...
Let me just add on to what he's saying here. We do things a little bit more long form. Absolute worst possible outcome that he's talking about in that trial means Trump is no longer allowed to do business in New York, essentially. He cannot be on the board of nothing. He cannot, I mean, it's the modern equivalent of being run out of town on a rail, which I really feel like we should bring back. Yeah, it would mean that the thing he was most known for, being a New York businessman, well, I guess now he's most known for being literally the worst president ever, maybe the worst human being ever, but the thing he was known for, being a New York businessman, is no longer a thing he can do. Good. Would also mean, I can only imagine, a tremendous amount of fines, which in this election year, Trump truly cannot afford.
A lot of things that the court can kind of pull from that when it comes to the honesty of, I mean, kind of the entire defense, really. So it may be that thing that sends the decision over the edge into a very extreme penalty for the former president and the organization that was on the table, but nobody was really sure if it was going to be applied. The interest from the court in this might mean that they were on the fence, and this may be the deciding factor. Trump and the legal team have until Wednesday to respond, 5 p.m. Wednesday. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.
I really don't know what they are. I really don't know how they are going to, what they could respond with. Um, Weisselberg did time for Trump. That means he is literally loyal to a fault. At the very least, I would say he has acknowledged that he sacrificed his career to Trump. He's done prison time now, or jail time now, but in a very unpleasant jail. And can't imagine this elderly businessman is going to be interested in returning. It's worth noting that it was, I think, Forbes. They do whoever does the 500. They are the ones that ratted him out. He said he took Trump and a reporter to Trump's 10,000 square foot apartment, and they walked him around there and said, "This 30,000 square feet." And they reported it on taxes, or not, I think a loan form. Yeah, they listed it as an asset. It's 30,000 square feet. That drastically affects the value. And Weisselberg, his defense of that was that mismatch of information was that, oh, I didn't really pay attention. I didn't pay such close attention. But no, the reporters are on the record as saying, oh, we are getting another call from Alan about the apartment. Oh, we've been invited out to go tour the apartment. Okay, we'll go tour the apartment and see if we have estimated its value correctly. In other words, probably at Trump's bidding, he obsessed over it. All so that Trump could have the appearance of a rich person, which crosses the line into fraud when you use that to get loans, because it makes the value of the loans greater. It means you have to pay less interest. It means you are defrauding a bank at that point. As we know, banks are run by rich people, and the U.S. Justice system cares first and foremost about defending the rights of rich people. They did really the only mistake you can make in the United States of America, 2020 whatever. For now, but I forget when they did this. In 2016, 20 whatever, until we get control of the country, progressives, which is they offended the rich. They effed with the oligarchs. That's why Sam Bankman-Fried got absolutely destroyed, because he offended the rich. He's fine to scam poor people. Trump right now is committing wire fraud. Right now, he's committing wire fraud. He is scamming poor people into paying his legal bills. They think they're paying for campaign stuff. They're paying his legal bills. The FEC, Federal Elections Commission, they're not looking into it. They haven't opened an investigation into that. But when you mess with rich people, when you mess with the oligarchy, that's when there is actually some action taken against you. Whoopsie daisy.